Have you ever sat at your kitchen table, sipping your morning tea, and thought to yourself, "Is this it? The quiet around you is calming." Sometimes. Other times it can feel just a little too quiet. Maybe you've lived with a partner most of your life, or raised a family that's now grown and scattered across cities or even countries. And now, at 65 or beyond, you find yourself with more time alone than ever before. It's not that you're lonely all the time, but let's be honest, living alone after a certain age can bring up all sorts of emotions. Some days feel like a blessing, peaceful, easy, yours to design. Other days can feel long, a little empty, and sometimes even heavy. But here's something important I want you to know right now. Living alone doesn't have to mean feeling alone. In fact, this chapter of your life can be one of the most freeing, joyful, and deeply fulfilling ones yet, if you know how to nurture it. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Because happiness after 65 isn't about keeping up with the pace of your younger years. It's about creating a rhythm that suits you. One that feels good in your body, in your heart, and in your soul. It's about learning to enjoy your own company, finding meaning in the little things, and waking up each morning with something to look forward to. So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's talk about how you can not just live alone, but live well and happily after 65. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Creating a daily routine that works for you. You see, when we were younger, routines were often shaped by work schedules, family obligations, or even social expectations. But now, your time is truly yours. That can feel freeing or a little overwhelming depending on how you look at it. The key here is to build a gentle structure that gives your day purpose. It doesn't have to be packed with activities or perfectly timed to the minute. But having a rhythm, like waking up at the same time each day, starting the morning with a walk or a bit of stretching, setting aside a moment for reflection or journaling, then planning small tasks or outings, can give your mind and body a sense of direction. You might be surprised how much better your days feel when you have even a light plan. It helps prevent those long stretches where the hours blend together, and suddenly it's evening and you're wondering where the day went. A routine anchors you. It reminds you that your time matters, that you matter. Let's say you start your morning with a walk around the block. Fresh air, maybe a wave to a neighbor. Then come home, make a nice breakfast, and listen to a bit of music or an audiobook. Midday, maybe you run a small errand or tend to your plants. In the evening, you cook something you enjoy, even if it's just for one. Light a candle, play music, treat yourself the way you'd treat a guest. This isn't about being busy. It's about creating a rhythm of care. And while you're doing that, let's talk about another important piece. Finding joy in your own company. This one takes practice, especially if you're used to a full house or always having people around. But here's the truth. Your own company can be one of the most peaceful and rewarding relationships you ever have. You just have to get to know yourself again, like reconnecting with an old friend. Start by noticing what you enjoy. Not what you used to do with others, not what you feel you should do, but what truly brings you peace or delight. Maybe it's sitting in the garden with your hands in the dirt. Maybe it's curling up with a good mystery novel. Or learning something new like painting or how to use that tablet your grandkid gave you. You don't need an audience to do the things you love. And you don't need permission. You get to create a life that fits you like a favorite sweater. Warm, comfortable, and just your style. And don't worry if some days feel quieter than others. That's normal. But here's a little tip. Try talking to yourself kindly like you would to someone you care about. If you catch yourself thinking, "Why bother cooking just for me?" shift it to, "I'm worth the effort. I deserve a nice meal." These small mental shifts make a big difference. Speaking of connection, let's move into something else that's just as important. Staying socially engaged in ways that feel meaningful to you. Living alone doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. In fact, this can be a beautiful time to choose the connections that truly lift you up. You don't need a packed calendar or dozens of friends. A few meaningful conversations, a warm phone call, or a shared laugh with a neighbor can fill your heart more than any busy gathering. Think about who brings you joy, who listens when you talk, who makes you feel seen. Reach out to them more often, even if it's just for a few minutes. And if you're feeling adventurous, this could also be the perfect time to make new connections. Joining a local book club, taking a low-pressure class, or simply saying hello to someone new on your morning walk. There's no rush and no right or wrong way to do it. But keeping those social threads alive, even just a few, reminds you that you're part of something bigger, that you belong. And you do. Now that we've touched on creating a routine, embracing your own company, and keeping meaningful connections alive, let's keep going. There's still more to explore when it comes to building a happy, fulfilling life. One that fits you beautifully, even when you live alone. So, we've talked about finding comfort in your daily routine, reconnecting with yourself, and staying meaningfully connected to others. These are powerful steps. But there's something else that quietly shapes how happy we feel day to day, especially when we live alone. And that's finding purpose. Now, the word purpose can sound a bit grand, like you need to be climbing mountains or starting a nonprofit. But purpose doesn't have to be big or loud. It can be simple, quiet, and deeply personal. It's about waking up and feeling like your presence matters. To yourself, to others, and to the world in your own way. Maybe your purpose is nurturing a small garden and watching something grow. Maybe it's calling your sister every Friday, or volunteering once a week at the animal shelter. Maybe it's learning a new language, just because you've always wanted to. Or passing down stories from your life to your grandchildren so they remember where they come from. Purpose is what makes your days feel meaningful. It gives you something to look forward to, something to pour yourself into. And when you're living alone, it becomes even more important, because you get to shape that purpose without needing anyone's permission or approval. It's yours and yours alone. If you're not sure where to start, try asking yourself this. What makes me feel useful? What makes me feel alive? The answer doesn't have to be impressive, just has to be honest. And if you're still exploring that answer, beautiful. That's part of the journey. Give yourself space to be curious. Try new things. Say yes to small adventures. Sometimes purpose is something we build, one little moment at a time. Another piece of the puzzle when living alone, especially after 65, is taking care of your physical and emotional well-being. Now, this might sound obvious, but the truth is, when we're not around others every day, it's easy to let the basics slide. Skipping meals, forgetting to move, not noticing when our mood dips a little too low. That's why it's so important to check in with yourself regularly. Are you eating meals that nourish you, not just fill you up but actually make you feel good afterward? Are you getting some movement every day, even if it's just dancing in your living room to an old favorite song? And how are you feeling emotionally? Are you laughing enough? Are you sleeping well? These aren't just boxes to tick. They're the foundations of feeling good in your own skin. And when you feel good physically, it becomes much easier to feel good emotionally too. Let's talk for a second about food, because eating alone can feel like a chore. But here's the thing. When you put effort into feeding yourself well, it sends a powerful message to your own heart. It says, I care about you. You deserve to be cared for. So, even if it's just a simple soup or a sandwich with a side of something fresh, sit down and enjoy it. Light a candle. Use the nice plate. You don't have to save the good things for guests anymore. You are the guest of honor in your own home. And when it comes to movement, this isn't about heavy workouts or pushing your limits. It's about keeping your body flexible, strong, and in tune. A gentle stretch in the morning, a short walk after lunch, a bit of gardening, or even just standing up every hour to move your shoulders and breathe deeply, keeps your energy flowing, and reminds you that your body is still very much alive, still capable of joy. Now let's take a moment to talk about your emotional well-being. Living alone means you're often your own sounding board. And that can be a beautiful thing if you treat yourself with kindness. Practice talking to yourself like a dear friend. If you're feeling sad, don't push it away. Ask yourself gently, what do I need right now? Sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's a call to someone who gets it. Sometimes it's just a good cry and a warm shower. One small thing that helps. Create little joy anchors throughout your week. Maybe Friday mornings are for your favorite pastry. Sunday evenings you watch an old movie you love. Wednesday afternoons you write a letter or an email to someone just because. These little rituals break up the week and give you moments to look forward to, even in quiet times. And if the quiet ever gets too loud, remember there's no shame in asking for support. Whether it's a therapist, a counselor, a community group, or a trusted friend, reaching out isn't weakness. It's strength. It's saying, I matter enough to take care of myself. As we continue building this beautiful, grounded life, one more thing becomes clear. Your space, the home you live in, can play a huge role in how you feel about living alone. Think about it. When you walk into your home, does it feel like a place that reflects who you are now? Not who you used to be or who other people wanted you to be, but the person you are in this very moment. Maybe it's time to rearrange things a little. Make your favorite chair the coziest spot in the house. Add a few personal touches that bring you joy. Photos, colors, soft lighting, a warm blanket. Your home doesn't have to be fancy or perfect. Just has to feel like you. A place that welcomes you with open arms every time you step inside. And don't underestimate the power of fresh air and light. Open the windows. Let the sun pour in. Add a plant or two. Even if you live in a small apartment, creating a little balcony nook or a corner by the window can make your space feel alive. When your space feels nurturing, you start to feel more at home in your life, even when it's just you there. And that feeling, that sense of belonging in your own space, on your own terms, that's a kind of happiness no one can take from you. Now that you've started shaping a life filled with purpose, kindness, and a space that feels truly like home, there's one more piece that we can't leave out. And that's learning to celebrate your independence. Living alone after 65 isn't something to hide or apologize for. It's something to be proud of. It means you've made it through storms, changes, seasons of love and loss. And here you are, still standing, still living, still writing your story. That deserves to be celebrated. Being on your own means you get to decide what your life looks like. Want to eat breakfast at 11 a.m. and stay in pajamas till noon? Go for it. Want to listen to music loud while you cook dinner or sit in silence while watching the sunset? Your choice. You don't have to compromise. You don't have to explain. You get to be fully you. And that kind of freedom can be powerful if you lean into it. Because you're not just living alone. You're living on your own terms. And that can be one of the most empowering, beautiful things about this stage of life. But even in your independence, remember, you're never truly alone in this world. There are people out there, even if you haven't met them yet, who understand your journey. There are friendships waiting to bloom, connections still to be made, laughter you haven't laughed yet. The world didn't close its doors just because you live by yourself. There are still so many open windows. So when you feel ready, try something new. Explore a hobby you never had time for. Sign up for a local group or class, even if it feels a little outside your comfort zone. Sometimes just stepping outside your front door with an open heart can lead to the most surprising, soul-nourishing experiences. And don't forget to look back now and then. Not with regret, but with pride. Think of all the versions of yourself you've been. The one who took care of others. The one who worked hard. The one who loved deeply. Every version of you has brought you here. Every version matters. And now, you get to focus on the version that's just for you. You are not starting over. You are continuing with more wisdom, more freedom, and the ability to choose joy every single day. Let's take a moment now to reflect on all the little things that bring happiness into your life. Not the big, dramatic moments, but the small, everyday comforts. Favorite cup of tea. The smell of something baking. The way the light hits the wall in the late afternoon. Quiet walk without a schedule. Soft bed at night. These things are happiness. You don't need more to feel full. You just need to notice what's already here. Happiness after 65 doesn't look like it did at 30. And it shouldn't. It's gentler, easier, more grounded. It's found in peace, in presence, in accepting yourself just as you are. And that kind of happiness isn't fragile. Strong. It's built from within. So if you're watching this and thinking, I don't always feel that strong, that's okay. None of us do all the time. But every day you wake up and choose to keep going, to care for yourself, to reach out, to make your space a little brighter, you're showing strength that's real. Strength that matters. Living alone after 65 can be beautiful. It can be peaceful, purposeful, and full of quiet joys. But more than anything, it can be yours. Your days, your choices, your rhythm, your joy. You're not missing out. You're just living differently. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So if this message speaks to you, take it to heart. Be gentle with yourself. Make space for joy, for silliness, for rest, for growth. Let your days be a reflection of the love and wisdom you've gathered along the way. And if you found even one small piece of comfort or encouragement from this video, I hope you'll share it. Leave a comment with your thoughts or experiences. I'd love to hear your story. You never know who might feel a little less alone reading your words. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're building a space here for people just like you. Wise, strong, kind, and curious about what's next. You're not alone on this journey. We're walking it together. Here's to embracing your independence, honoring your life, and finding peace in your own beautiful company. You deserve nothing less. And remember, you don't need anyone else to complete you. You are already whole. Here's to living your best life at any age.